wish that didn't happen was Eric Hosmer. 144 million, 8 years, and now since he's going to have 10-5 rights at the end of this season, if Padres don't trade him, he's probably going to be staying here. Do you think that it would be worth it for the Padres to trade Hosmer before the deadline if that means that they have to part with top prospects, and eat a lot of his salary?
I think that would be what's the phrase I'm looking. I think it would look poorly upon the franchise. It's not like Eric Hosmer's having a bad year. He's having a decent year. I'm not saying he's living up to a $144 million contract, but it also is very difficult for anybody to live up to some of these numbers now. I mean, if you want to break it down, what everyone's making, it's tough to live up to that. I mean, people want him hitting, 400 home runs and driving in 500 people. And, it's just difficult. I think if they're in it at the deadline, to trade Eric Hosmer to me is, I don't think that looks good. So, it's difficult. It is a business and they're going to do what they feel is right for the team, but it's not like he's having a horrendous year. And to jeopardize the future, to trade a guy like that, I don't see it being worth it. It's not like he's a massive liability.
Yeah. Okay. What I would say to that is he's being more, he's a liability, I think, on defense. And we've seen Bob Melvin take him out. Last night we saw him take him out. It's been multiple times. In the Dodgers series, took him out and put Cronenworth at first and put an infielder at second, just because he has been a liability defensively, scooping balls, throwing to wrong bases, not catching pop-ups and let it fall on the mound. Stuff like that, that's where fans, I think, are frustrated. And where you talk about, the fans' high expectations of him, offensively and all the home runs and all that, I think what Padre fans are asking is for him to have a little more power. Like in Kansas, I know he's not in his prime anymore, but in Kansas City, he had like 25 home runs, 22 home runs his first year with the Padres.
Sure,
I think
you have
just
to
want him
too, he's
just
also
do that.
He's also 32 years old now. I mean, it's different. He was drafted in 2008 by the Royals. Like people get older. Like you're not going to be able to play at your, physical capabilities at 32 like you could when you were 22. It's just not feasible. I mean, but it's not like he has 6 home runs. He's driven in 33. He has 77 hits. He has a 273 average. It's not like he's hitting 173. He has a 329 OBP and a 716 OPS. So the OPS isn't great, but, he's not, maybe get him off his legs, get him off his feet, have him as a DH sometimes over, I don't know. I think Bob Melvin is really, really one of the best at getting the most out of his players. I mean, you saw what he had to work with in Oakland in terms of salary and ballpark and all of that stuff. I don't know. I'm a Hosmer fan, so it's hard. I understand when you bring it down by the numbers, but I just don't see. And again, he has that veteran presence, the postseason experience. I mean, I don't know that you can necessarily put a value on the other stuff, that he brings to the table.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like you talk about his age and all that, and I think Paul Goldschmidt like 34. Like
I do believe that Goldie a couple of years older. Yes,
I thought he was younger. It feels like because he signed his contract obviously later than Hosmer, or the extension with St. Louis, but he's producing obviously at an MVP level. We don't want, at least from my point of view, I'm not asking him to produce at an MVP level. I'm just asking him to produce consistently throughout the year instead of being a 390 hitter in April and then not doing really much of anything in comparison to that the rest of the year.
Yeah, I'm sure Eric Hosmer would love for that to happen as well. I mean, I don't think that any of these guys I don't think anyone's harder on them than they are themselves. And to your question, Paul Goldschmidt's 34. And yeah, he has a 342 average right now, 427 OBP, and he has an OPS over 1. So yeah, I get it. I mean, Paul Goldschmidt right now is playing out of his mind. He's a 7-time All-Star, I believe. So Goldie's having a very special year. And, would we all love to have 9 Goldschmidts on our team? For sure. But that's not realistic. And, I guarantee you that Eric Hosmer would love to be having that type of season too. I just don't see him as being like this He's not a cancer in the clubhouse. You know, he's a veteran leader. You know, and he does know what it takes to win as well. And I think for that, there is some value in that can't be quantified in the box score.